Hey guys, it's Matt. Let's get to the bottom of this Prince Andrew nonsense. And as much as I would like to put in some video clips and some of the things he said and the way he said it, I really can't afford to do that if I can leave it out when the commentary is more important, and that's not as important. I have to leave it out. They'll flag me with on my video manager saying copyrighted material. They'll put an ad on this, and in a way, it does jeopardize the channel because they'll just look for copyrighted material. Boom, boom, boom. You'll wake up one morning with three strikes, and then you're locked out of your own channel. So when in doubt, I've got to keep it out. And in this case, 90% of you plus know everything about this Prince Andrew story. If not, just YouTube search Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. Watch 4 or 5 little news. Watch the way the news is presenting, and watch the way Good Morning America is presenting it, and you'll get a sense as to what's going on. Now, in summary, for anybody that doesn't want to stick with this video, what do you think I'm going to say? It's 100% fake, completely crafted. Just another act of the play, just another, ring in the three-ring bozo circus. And if per the first rule of truth, if a portion of it's fake, it's all fake. I believe the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing is fake, and I know to a small percentage, that's shocking. Well, what are you saying? You're saying Jeffrey Epstein's not really a pedo? Are you going to support the pedos, Matt? It's all fake. Okay, it's all fake. Every bit of it, all through Jeffrey Epstein. First rule of truth, Prince. It's just the next act with Prince Andrew. I'll explain all of this if you want to stick with me. Do I have any insider information? Did I do any research where I surveilled the prince from like I rented a white van and I put fake stickers to make it think it was a plumber's van and I surveyed? No, I didn't do any of that. I simply can read through the matrix code, can interpret it, and sift through the bullcrap. And as almost anybody watching this channel can as well, the reason you might be interested in sticking with this video is usually I go a little bit farther and I try to, and I'll usually explain it in a way where going farther actually makes sense. And again, if I say the whole Jeffrey Epstein cartoon character is crafted, that will offend a good portion here. You must admit at least that he's a pedo, Matt. No, I'm not. I'm not going to admit that, but I will admit it. Meaning, we know all the creepy, sick things that quote they do in the back rooms. It's always happened through the days of kings and queens and emperors and dukes, and the creepy ones always will happen. What they're putting forth, so was Jeffrey Epstein engaged in that? Yeah, probably, maybe, I don't know. But I'm saying the act that's being put forth for us to follow on the news, the next act in the play is all fake. So let's just start with the basics, what's happening now with Prince Andrew, and work backwards through Jeffrey Epstein and even through Jimmy Savile. I don't know shit about Jimmy Savile, but I'll try to tie that in. And if for anybody offended, see, for anybody offended, you don't understand. If you present a caricature that's supposed to be a big pedo and a coordinator of young girls in the pedo island like Jeffrey Epstein, you're not helping the problem. It's actually used as to distract, to keep the real pedo problem hidden. It actually fosters the real problems. See, so if I say it's fake, that's not helping their cause. The whole Jeffrey Epstein character is put forth to actually keep the real sick stuff hidden. Okay, I'll try to explain that, and I don't know. I'm just putting the pieces together. Again, I'm an observer of reality. I have no, I have no ability to research other than what I observe. But I usually put the pieces together accurately because I call this reality the not milk. That's Clinton backwards. It has a nature to how it does business. Once you understand its nature, you can start to predict it. This applies to anything once you understand its true nature. I adopted a cat, very nice tortie, but it has a tortie. They call it tortitude. Some torties have a real bitchy side, And this isn't a cat that likes to get up in your lap and is very affectionate. I like it a lot, and I'm glad I got it. But it has tortitude. Oh, it can be bitchy. And I'm starting just after 1 week. I know at some point, if it doesn't want to be touched in a certain way, or after it's cleaned itself, it will low growl and it will hiss at me. Now I'm putting up. I'm not. I have ways to. It's been fostered and taken all over, and it thinks I'm its foster home, and it doesn't know I'm its true master. And I can work through this. But the point is, I understand now its nature, and I know when it's likely to hiss at me. And it's the same with the reality and the way the script is presented to us. So let's just start with Prince Andrew without getting to any conclusions. And most of you at this channel will agree with me, but who knows where a video like this will wander off to. So I have to make this presentation to a degree to people that might be wandering or stumbling upon this video, although YouTube keeps me in a very, very tight box, and it's very unlikely anybody's going to see this video outside you guys. But let's just take Prince Andrew. These people, we don't know exactly what these creatures are in the royal family. And we're not going to go there in this video, but they're highly educated. They're incredibly smart. They're incredibly crafty, witty. They're not dumb. And even if they are dumb, the people that surround them are not dumb. So here's this BBC interview where the prince is going to look foolish. He's going to look like he's stumbling over his words. He's going to look like he kind of wants to separate himself from Jeffrey Epstein, but he can't. He's not prepared. Do you really think... And again, I don't, don't take this the wrong way, guys. I know the people watching this, the people that watch this channel regularly can see through this stuff. But just pretend I have to talk to people that may stumble upon this. Do you think there's any chance he wouldn't be prepared for that interview? I think there's any chance he's going to say stupid-ass things like, well, why did you stay with Jeffrey Epstein when you went to New York between this date and this date? Oh, it was the convenient thing to do. It was his Jeffrey Epstein. But you knew he was under investigation for some sort of pedo crimes, right? Well, it was convenient to stay. Come on. Are you kidding me? It's all set up. What are you saying, Mr. YouTube creator, quantum conscious, that he really didn't fly in and decide to stay? No, it's all a show. It's all an act. It's so easy to see through. But let's just start with what we have now. He's not going to be prepared for this interview. He's not going to be drilled with cue cards. Now, we know Jeffrey Epstein's everybody thinks he's a pedophile now, and he was going to be convicted as a pedophile. So here's what you have to do. You have to distance yourself. He would be cued, prepared. He wouldn't be this bumbling idiot in a BBC interview. Therefore, it's all fake. If you don't believe it's fake, you assume that one of the smartest people on earth is just going to be completely unprepared, dumb, and embarrass the entire royal family by not being able to separate himself from basically somebody that is a known pedophile. Really? Yeah, sure. So if you think it's more likely that he would be prepared and he would be able to say the right things, and BBC, they're just out to get him. They're not on the same team. No, there's no way he could have gotten the questions beforehand. It was just good, hard reporting from the BBC. Anybody that thinks that doesn't have any idea how the world works. So the fact that the most ridiculous thing was, well, I did stay with Jeffrey Epstein, but it was just convenient. Like he doesn't have $20,000 in his back pocket to stay at the Waldorf Astoria or to stay at the Ritz-Carlton. I think he drove by the Four Seasons. He thought it was a stage show. Oh, Four Seasons, F that. I don't want to see that. No, it's a good hotel. We'll stay with Jeffrey. Really? You really think that happened? And then, of course, for any asshole conspiracy theorist like me, not that we need a cherry on top, but what do they put on top? So if there was any doubt the way I'm interpreting this, that I'm not sure of myself, they always give you something. So I go, okay, now I'm 100%. I was 99%. The video of he opens the door. Go look at it. It's ridiculous. The video, he sends some young girl out in the street to take the walk of shame. There's somebody filming across the street, has a video of the Prince Andrew coming to Epstein's door Of course, and what does it imply to the average dope that watches the news, that believes Michael Strahan in the mornings delivering real news? That fraud sellout, the biggest sellout fraud of all time, is that Michael Strahan. What a clown joke he is. So he's becoming my new problem caricature on the news, like Scott Pelley used to be, the skeleton man, and Lawrence O'Donnell will always be. Oh, I can't stand that creature, but I'm trying to not to hate anymore because the creatures feed off that energy. But so he comes to the door and he sends the little girl on her way or something. Oh, bye, bye, come on back now, you hear? And oh, go take the walk of shame home. He doesn't even, can I even get You're the prince, right? Can I even get $5 for a cab? You're going to make me do the walk of shame through Brooklyn? Bye. Oh, remember, we don't know each other. Who's filming? Somebody they get a white van and they just put fake signs up, Larry, Moe, and Curly's Plumbing, and there's a white van across and they're filming. How'd they get the image, the video of the prince coming to the door? The security detail of the royal family or of Jeffrey Epstein, they're not going to be kind of being aware of that somebody's just waiting across the street filming. It's all a setup. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. So, anybody stumbling upon this video, where'd they get the pictures? Come on. Come on. But the people that don't see it will say, well, wait a second. You're struggling. You suspect. Say, what do they get out of this? That's the big, and I'll try to put a lot of that together. But if you're stumbling upon this and you don't understand how this whole reality works, this isn't going to make a lot of sense. You have to understand the not milk, which is Clinton spelled backwards. You just can't get it. But I understand your basic questions. So, well, wait a second. You're saying this is fake. Why would these creepy powers that be want to make a member of the royal family look bad? Why would they, if they are doing their sick pedo stuff in the back rooms, why would they want to call attention to it with a Jeffrey Epstein? I understand these questions are these are good questions in the way you should be thinking about this, and I don't think I'll be able to deal with all of them in this video. But they play multi-dimensional chess. If something appears to be something, it's not. It never is. Now, if you think you have the answer and it's just at this level, it's almost never right. It's at this level or this level. Almost everything is a third level conspiracy. And can you imagine anybody stumbling upon this video going, this guy, he seems to make a decent case and he seems to be somewhat intelligent, and he's conspiracies off the board, so I don't know if I can continue watching, but it's not even regular conspiracy shit. He's saying it's 3 levels past what the regular conspiracy theorists would come up with. I know that's almost impossible for some people to imagine, but trust me, somebody that's been researching how this system works for 10 years, they are always operating around 3 corners. They are always operating 10, 20, 30, 50 years in advance. So let's just get back to the basics, how it's all fake. Right through Jeffrey Epstein. Matt, what are you saying? That he really wasn't about to be charged and he really didn't kill himself? No. Let me repeat myself. It's all fake. It's all fake. Again, there are reasons. The main question people would have is, well, if they're doing all this sick stuff in the back room and the pedo stuff, why would they want to call attention to it? It is a complicated question. It's a multifaceted answer, but in a way, they are calling attention to it, and by calling attention to it to a degree, actually protects the real perverts. At a very simple level, it's a magic trick of a big firework goes off, a explosion, and a magic hat and a rabbit, and look over here. I mean, the most basic element is always look over here, because then you're not looking at what we're doing over here. When you bring a caricature like a Jeffrey Epstein forth to play a role, and again, one last time for the people that are triggered, I'm not saying he wasn't into the sick pedo stuff. Maybe most of them are. I don't know. But maybe he was doing it too. But in this case, he was asked to play a role, just like Bruce's gender was asked to play a role. Didn't want to become a woman. The powers that be of the Not Nilk sat down with him and said, "You're going to do your Uncle Marsalis a favor. Do you like Oak, Jimmy? Do you like Oak, Bruce's gender? You're going to play this role. You're going to tell Diane Sawyer you want to transition to a woman, and and then we're going to use your image to push the transgender social agenda out to the masses through magazine covers and reality TV shows." He was playing a role. It's the same with Epstein. And it's the same with Prince Andrew. Maybe they got out of line. Maybe the true powers of this world are putting them through a humiliation ritual. I don't know, but it's more likely it's part of a very long-term game that they play. So Epstein, by everybody's focused on Epstein. Pedo this, pedo that, Epstein, Jimmy Savile, Epstein. It calls the attention away from the real perverts. And it also subconsciously tells people that, oh, well, the bad people will be found out, as Epstein was found out, and justice will be done. If he didn't hang himself, he would have been convicted. So whether they're consciously aware of it or not, says this system is good. Billy Madison, reading is good. This system is good. It will eventually find the bad people, and it will bring them to justice. That's the subconscious message, because they were going to convict Epstein. I mean, he hung himself. He was a bad man, so he hung himself. Whoever this character was played a role. Do I think he really hung himself? No, he's probably on his own secret pedo island laughing with all the rest of them. That's generally how the system works. The system is not good. Look, it's complicated. It is complicated. But I'm not going to be able to put everything together for you. I can only just hope to get you thinking in different ways. But let's just go back to the basic evidence. One of the big things I've pushed forth in writing the book and analyzing any of these conspiracies, we don't have to know all 6 elements to have a position on what's being presented. We don't have to know the who, what, when, where, why, and how. That's the standard that the people around us, like our friends and family, say if we must know all 6 elements, or I'm not going to take you seriously, which is not even reasonable. When a news story is presented about a clerk that gets robbed at the 7-Eleven, they might know 3 of the elements. They might not know the other 3, but they're still going to present the news story, and the news story is accurate. The 7-Eleven really was robbed. But when we just are missing one element, like we'll explain something to friends or family that something went down, or something isn't real, or something is fake, or something's a false flag, we'll say, well, you've explained all the elements, but why would they do it? And if we say, well, the why, I don't really know the motivations in this case. Oh, they'll ignore everything you just said, all the great evidence they'll ignore, and they'll flush your entire argument. So the conspiracy theorist must be perfect. The conspiracy theorist can make no mistake. So in this case of all the elements, the who, what, when, where, why, and how regarding Jeffrey Epstein and the Prince, we're not going to know all of the elements. We're not. But if we can examine some of the basic evidence to go right to the first level. And the first level says it's all fake. And the first thing that got me to say this isn't real was before I even truly understood how the world works. I was a believer in many aspects of the system, even going back 4 years, the beginning of 2016 or so. And I was, at that point, I was listening to conservative radio, and I'd listen to Mark Levin. I had listened to Rush Limbaugh before that, but Mark Levin he's a constitutional scholar, and every once in a while I still would tune into Alex Jones. Sure, I was taken just like everybody else. And during that time, I remember the talk was Jeffrey Epstein. It really was. And it was kind of tied together. Roger Stone would come forth and present all the sick stuff that Bill Clinton did, and Donald Trump used all of Clinton's rape victims in his campaign, and he actually brought a few of them to one of the debates. And yes, it's all fake. So what was I going to say about Epstein? Oh, I know what I was going to say. The beginning of 2016, all this talk, there's talk of Epstein back in 2016. I remember it clearly, and his pedo island. And the conservatives were latching onto the fact that, oh, all the Bill Clinton types go out to the Jeffrey Epstein pedo island, and all the conservative shows were running with this, that these Democrats are so bad because they're running with Epstein, and Bill Clinton's been out to the pedo island this many times and he's seen this person there, and oh, we are in the middle of it all with this. They're so bad, these Democrats. And I was falling for a lot of it too, even back in early 2016. Now, the point of all this is I get an email from my cousin, who's a hardcore Hillary Clinton supporter. Of course, everything that comes out of my cousins is LGBTQA rights, and Democrats are wonderful. Democrats are good. They're just wonderful. Conservatives are horrible. At that point, I'm starting to move away from this two-party paradigm, saying this ain't real. I don't play this anymore. This ain't real. But they're completely believers of it. And the email says, there's evidence Donald Trump went out to the Epstein pedo island. This is in early 2016. And I went, oh my gosh. Because I have my head in the conservative stuff, they're presenting that all the Democrats are going to this pedo island, and it seems to be that actually on all the liberal fronts, the MSNBCs and all that, they're actually talking about Trump and other conservatives going out to the same pedo island. So they're using the same thing on both sides for the same goals or results. And I went, yeah, what are the chances? See, they're using that Jeffrey Epstein thing to try to sink Trump, and the people that I was listening to at the time on the radio were trying to use the Jeffrey Epstein pedo island thing to sink the Clintons. I was like, this is like, if this was a script or what do you call it, not a storyboard, but a screenplay submitted by an eighth grader to his teacher for something to consider. This is ridiculous. You're using the same set of circumstances against both sides. So the point of all this, guys, I've been a little long-winded, is the Jeffrey Epstein thing. They've used it to their advantage whenever they needed to use it, going back to the early part of 2016 or even before. And again, in terms of what do they get out of it, well, here's what they get out of it. And you could use the Prince Andrew thing and tie it together right now. They've created into the minds of everybody, this character comes forth, Jeffrey Epstein, to play this pedo role. And then he's about to be convicted, and then he hangs himself. So in the minds of almost everybody in this country, even a subset of people that watch this channel, will be thinking the same as everybody else. This person, it's cemented. The cement is hardened on this Jeffrey Epstein caricature. It's hardened. And what does it say carved in when you put your name in the cement and it hardens? What is carved into it? Evil, pedo, sick, criminal, all that. Now, and then you harden the cement on this Jeffrey Epstein caricature. Now, it's very useful to the powers that be, because anybody you want to take out, you tie to that hardened statue. Prince Andrew, what are they doing? Criminal, sick, evil individual, and they're linking Prince Andrew to him. Then the virus gets on him, and the mud gets on him, and he's tainted. So it's a permanent structure they've created in Jeffrey Epstein, as well as probably in Jimmy Savile, where whatever they want to do, or whoever they want to link to that, they can take out or take down. I was watching some of the news on the Prince Andrew thing, and somebody came forth and said, there's a certain facet of young people in the UK that are kind of tired of the extended royal family, and they want to, we want to get rid of this aspect of the royal family and this aspect of it. And if the powers that be want to do that, yes, this is a great way to do it. The embarrassment of Prince Andrew. It's okay. We're going to have a queen, we're going to have a prince in waiting, we're going to get rid of everything else, or whatever social changes they want to make. They craft these sorts of things to make those social changes. They play three-dimensional chess. I can't see around three corners usually, so I don't know ultimately what they're up to. But this is how they work. Okay? Now, this will offend people inside this channel. This will offend as well. And I am being a little bit reckless here because I don't know crap about Jimmy Savile. And I'm aware how horrible the accusations are. Much, much worse for him than Epstein. I'm aware of this. And to make certain assumptions like I'm going to make, having done, for lack of better words, no research whatsoever, if some subset will get upset at me, and maybe deservedly so, unless I can tie it together and this will make sense to you in the end. And because it's such a sensitive subject, I have to be extremely clear. Okay? I'm not saying, listen to me and don't put words in my mouth. People put words in my mouth. I'm not saying that this Jimmy Savile wasn't a pedo, criminal, sick individual. He might have done everything that they said he did, or probably did. Probably what these creatures do. We know they're sick individuals. Nobody thinks they're sicker than I do. Who are you talking to here? But in the caricature he put forth, it just, for somebody that can read the Matrix code, it just doesn't fly with me. Like I don't know what they get out of it by saying, well, if he's a real pedo, Matt, why would they put up an act that he's this giant pedo? And I'm not sure. I mean, I'll think about it. But let's just go back to the basics. When you're not sure, you return to the absolute basics. One moment. Excuse me. The absolute basics is this guy, just the look of him. I mean, see, when society or the not-nil system presents someone as the biggest sick pervert pedo of all time, and they actually look the role, I'm skeptical. I'm suspect, as Ben Affleck would say in Good Will Hunting. Retainer, you're suspect. I'm suspect. If you could not put a person into a photo that looked more sick, more pedo than Jimmy Savile, he's all in the robes, the Hugh Hefner robes, and he looks disgusting, and he's got purple glasses, and he's got a big cigar. Look at some of the pictures. Pedo Jimmy Savile. Now, again, folks, if the system tells me that this is the biggest pedophile of all time, and the caricature look of him is exactly a match of what anybody in their mind would picture to be the biggest pedophile of all time, I'm suspect of that. Okay, I am. If you're reading a book, and the book is about the biggest sick pedo individual of all time that had, kids in dungeons and everything, you would exactly picture Jimmy Savile if you were just reading a book on black and white on pages. And that's exactly what he looks like. Yeah, I'm suspect of it. Now, again, I'm sure there's some people really upset. What do you say he's not? Matt, you're trying to say he's not a pedo, and you're actually supporting the side of the pedos. No, you don't put words in my mouth. If you bring forth a giant caricature like that, at the very least, you get everyone to focus on that caricature, and the real upstanding people who you think are upstanding, like somebody in the royal family or somebody in Hollywood, they're doing even way sicker stuff, but you're not focused on them. It also, I don't know. It's a magic act. Look over here, and it's the same. And they have a tool then, like with Epstein, they have a tool where Jimmy Savile has the same reputation, much, much worse than Epstein. I'm not saying he didn't really do it. Last time I'm going to say that, because people will still put words in my mouth and say I'm defending pedos. You don't get it. You're not understanding the way this not-nilk system works. You have to think around three corners if you want to figure it out. It's the same. Anybody for 10 years, they can tie to Jimmy Savile, they will destroy. Anybody they can tie to Jeffrey Epstein, for 10 years from now, they will destroy politically, socially, in the public's eye. So at the very minimum, creating these two caricatures works wonders just from that perspective alone. The creepy back room says, well, we're not going to put the cement shoes on you, but I'm sorry, we're going to tie you to Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sorry, we're going to tie you to Jimmy Savile, which destroys the person. That's first level, first dimensional chess. They're playing three-dimensional chess, but if it was just that, do you see how powerful and useful that would be to the virus that runs the world? Do you see that? It doesn't mean they weren't doing it. And also, but just think it through logically. People that study reality and see the true power structure that is in control here. It's not Republicans running against Democrats for a presidential rate. There's a power in the shadows here. That's not the purpose of this video. We've been covering that for years. The Woodrow Wilson quote. A power that is so all-powerful, all-invasive, all-seeing, all-knowing that when the most powerful people in the world complain about it, they do it with hushed voice or they do it in a whisper. Go look up the Woodrow Wilson quote. Woodrow Wilson wasn't doing us a favor or revealing truth. He was revealing truth. He was dropping truth because they have to drop truth. Woodrow Wilson is an absolute monster. One of the worst people to ever walk the earth, just maybe right between Idi Amin and Vlad the Impaler, Woodrow Wilson. So he wasn't helping us with that quote. They put quotes like that up because they have to reveal the truth. But if we generally agree this power would ever exist in the back room, which may or may not be human, they don't make these sorts of mistakes. If Jimmy Savile was the biggest pedo of all time, they're not going to have this guy that looks like the biggest pedo of all time running around the last 5 years of his life posing with Prince Charles and wearing his silks. And it's amazing he called Elton, can I borrow some of your garb and some of your clothes? I need to look the part even more than I do. Well, didn't you get all the Hugh Hefner silks and robes? And didn't you get all the cigars from Rush Limbaugh? Yeah, but I got the purple round glasses, and I still don't look like a big enough pedo. So bring your shit over here, Elton. He didn't go. I don't think he did go to Elton for the big. He looks the part. If he was really running pedo stuff for all the elite, we just think all the elite, they're just so stupid that they're going to let this guy roam around in his robes with his gut hanging out and his hairy chest. They would say, I would think they're pretty smart. I would think they're pretty smart and they're operating at levels that you don't and I don't understand. I think they would say, this guy who's running pedo stuff for us, he actually looks the fucking part. Let's get rid of him and run the children some other way. See, that's what they would do because they're way smarter than we are. So when it appears to be, this is the way the not nilk works. When it appears to be something, hey, Jimmy Savile's look at him, he's the biggest pedo of all time, then that's not it. If it appears to be it, it ain't. Okay? Now, I don't have all the answers, but I was able to show you what the system gets out of creating these scenarios. And Prince Andrew, the lower level monarchy, he's just playing a role, a part. Maybe, did he get out of line and maybe they're putting him through some sort of humiliation ritual? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what they do in the back rooms. That's possible, but it's much more than that in this case. See, they want to use the Jeffrey Epstein for whatever they're going to use it for. They need to keep it alive. They need to keep breathing life into it. They need to keep blowing air onto the fire. They keep it. People are forgetting about Jeffrey Epstein. See, that's what's happened. People are forgetting about Jeffrey Epstein. What do we do? Well, I don't know. They're sitting around the back room, drinking their $40,000 cognac and brandy. Oh, get that useless idiot Prince Andrew. Well, what did he do? We want to ruin him? Well, he doesn't, that's the problem. He doesn't do anything. He's never helped us. He's been running around on our nickel on this private jet for so long. He owes us. Get that asshole in here and we're going to explain the part he's going to play. And then he plays the part. And what happens to the Jeffrey Epstein caricature? All the life is breathed back into it. And they like that and they will use that. And I'm only barely seeing around two corners. There's a third shoe to drop from a three-legged man. You can't get to bed till you hear the second shoe drop. And then the old cartoon, the guy runs up and it's a one-legged man. He couldn't get to bed because he was waiting for the second shoe to drop. I'm saying it's a three-legged man, and there's another shoe to drop on all of this, and we won't be able to put it all together until it drops. But I'm telling you, this is close to the line of way of thinking about it to get to an understanding of what potentially is going on. Of course, what the news presents is 100% fake, and most conspiracy conservative channels that lean conservative, they're gonna see the three-dimensional chess as being presented as just checkers, and they're not going to look around two corners the way we're trying to do here. Thanks for watching.